Hey, I'm Jay from Team 125 Overland, and today we're going to talk about why you need an actual inverter in your Overland rig. Here I am, and I'm about to cut up my dash using my trusty Dremel, and believe it or not, it's plugged into my truck. That's what's powering it. That's why you need an inverter. So when I did my dual battery setup, I knew I wanted to put an inverter in here. I said if I was going to put one in, I was going to go big. So the thing is a 2300 watt, 4600 watt peak inverter. It's mounted behind my driver's seat. My charging system is two batteries, two Optimas using a regular starting and a deep cycle Optima battery. Then I've also got a 0 gauge cable replacing all the stock factory cable, as well as also doing the big three for the three grounds. I've replaced all the clamps. I've tied the batteries together using a 500 amp alter isolator, and I've also changed everything up to use circuit breakers. Additionally too, I've changed it up to add a 240, 260 amp alternator. Kind of gives me a really good charging system. So for me, using an inverter, it's kind of like one of those things you just kind of have to have it added on because it's very useful. So I put heavy gauge cable going to the inverter. I want to say 0 gauge, maybe even 2 gauge at the smallest. It's been absolutely a huge help in building my truck. Anytime I need to plug in a tool, I just plug it right in. Currently, I just got an extension cord plugged right behind my seat where I have a power strip. It's also ran to the back in a box that I run at the back, and I use it for all kinds of things. Here's a perfect example of something I use. Is when I'm working on my truck, I need to charge my drill, I need to run my Dremel, I need to do whatever. I've got that. So if you're on the road and you need to use some sort of power tool that you need to charge or plug in, you've got that available. One of the big huge things is you can use house appliances on this one. Okay, so if I want to use a toaster, I used to carry a toaster. It wasn't really that useful, but it was nice having a bagel on the side of the road. Another thing that's useful about that is that if you have a bunch of equipment that you're using, like cameras, whatever that require a lot of charging, you just plug a power strip to it and charge everything at once. That's really super useful. Me personally, your camera equipment, if it wasn't for that inverter, I'd be a little bit worried because I have so much to charge at the same time and you only have so many outlet sockets. The one I did buy was also a remote control too. That's also nice if you want to shut something off, if you have something plugged in. I highly recommend getting an inverter for your Overland rig. It's going to be a great investment. You're really going to get a lot of benefit out of it, especially just even like little things like this. You always work on and you're always running out extension cords to power something, lights, whatever the case may be, even like a troubleshooting light like that. For a perfect example is if I have a problem underneath my hood and I need a troubleshooting light, I just plug that in, get underneath the hood. Very, very, very big advantage. So I highly recommend getting an inverter for your Overland rig. It's going to pay for itself in the headache of trying to do things. It's totally worth it. So yeah, thanks. Hopefully that helps out some.